My name is Duncan Winburn. I was asked to come and speak to you today because I'm a blood recipient and a blood drive sponsor. As soon as I make the weight, I'm going to be a blood donor. To catch you up, I mentioned last year that I was going to get my driver's license. Well, I haven't yet. Haven't even tried. I've been too busy. Since the last time I saw you, I was in a play called A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's Shakespeare. Moving on, and I began working with my school and a movement called Globalize 13. This movement is seeking to make the 13th Amendment, that's the one that ends slavery, effective worldwide. I got the opportunity to travel to Italy and Greece and study human trafficking, which, if you haven't noticed, is happening right here, right in our state, and in our own city. In fact, I was in another play about slavery written by some friends of mine. And as Miss Kelly said in her lovely introduction, I worked with the Salkehatchie group to rebuild a disabled man's house. All of this work is my personal decision, my calling from my God to live in the light of creative altruism. Last year we talked about this saying that Dr. Martin Luther King spoke in 1956. An individual has not begun to live until he can rise above the narrow horizons of his particular individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. Every person must decide at some point whether they will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. This is the judgment. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? I talked about the fact that I have a life, that all of us that have received blood have a life, because people like you aren't selfish. And because we have a life, we are able to do amazing things that can make our world better. I am here because of people like you, and you are still awesome. I may have been a little too busy to get my license, but since I have access to the mom limo, I'm really not in a hurry. You can relax. The roads are safe from me. For now. So, funny story. Right now, I'm in a play called Little Shop of Horrors. Have any of you seen it or the movie? It's about a guy named Seymour who finds an interesting plant and names it Audrey 2. One day he pricks his finger and the plant pricks up and starts sucking the blood right out of it. Now, before you start thinking this is a horror play, let me explain. It's a love story, a comedy, and a musical. Weird but true. And as this plant gets bigger and bigger, it needs more and more blood. Not just any blood, human blood, fresh blood. Feeling squeamish yet? And then the play talks and it says, "Feed me, Seymour, feed me." And Seymour does. Wouldn't it be great if all hospitals had to I'm glad. People like you and I, and all of your blood donors, come together for this special event and give. Not because a big plant asks you to, but because you know it's the right thing to do. You have decided to walk in the light of creative altruism. I mentioned that I had done Shakespeare, and while his plays and poetry were profound, 2 simple lines he wrote are so inspiring. How far that little candle throws his beams, so shines a good deed in a weary world. I told you my story about how I'm here because 16 years ago, blood donors gave for someone they didn't know, and a little baby survived. In fact, right now, 16 years ago, I was in the NICU at Richland, my parents praying over me, and blood flowing into me. This is real. Right now. Right now, someone is breathing again because a bag of blood that a few days ago was hanging beside a donor bed is now hanging beside a hospital bed. It doesn't get more personal than this. Your people might not think their little light will make a difference, but this really is a weary world full of hurting people. And like Shakespeare said, their little light might be the beacon of hope that some mom and dad needs to see. It doesn't take a blazing sun to save the world, just a little candle lit one at a time that will make the difference. You don't have an easy job. Asking people to give blood is a very personal thing, but think how much brighter the world will be with each candle that gets lit in your blood drive. You don't have to run around and say, feed me. That would be, well, creepy. Don't do that. But please let every one of your donors know that they have a chance to shine bright. And if they can't give, if they can bring someone who can, that shines just as bright. To every one of you, for all your hard work, I want to say thank you. So shines a good deed in a weary world.